Hi, we are Joe and Courtney, and for Navdeep and Emily, we are the group Parcheesi For The Course. So, as you can see with our four screens here, we have the full game board ready and running. If you took a look at our Milestone 2, we had a simple game board working that you just went around one short circuit square, or rectangle rather. So what we did now is we implemented the entire game board, and we implemented the home squares and the ending palace and some of the rules for actual Parcheesi as well. So some of the rules that we had to implement was you now have four pieces that you move. So we allow you to now roll the dice, choose which piece to use for each die, and then you get to move the pieces. And we also added in an ignore die button as well to make it so that you can just, if you're maybe at the end and you need the exact amount of moves to get into the palace, you can ignore a die or ignore both if you want to just skip your turn until you are waiting for that correct roll. Now, we also added a database which allows more than one game to be running at a time. Eventually we'll go ahead and open up more games. But for right now, we're going to show you that we're still working on this one here. But the database allows for more than one game, where last time our sockets only allowed 4 players to connect at a time and then would time out at anyone else who would join. With this one, the addition of more games allows us to connect as many people as we want and just have you join. Now, we had an idea last time for maybe like a sign-on system, but it seemed easier to go with this database in the long run, and it'll keep track of who's connected, where all the pieces are at, who won the game, whose turn it is, and it will continue to update that for each player. Other things that we've added, as per rules, you have to have an exact number of moves to get to the middle. And now, one rule that we didn't get to, that we meant to, was that if you land on the same space as someone is already occupying, it would move that person's pawn back to their home base. Now, we weren't able to get that completed, but if we had more time, the logic would have been there. It's just a little tough because of the way that the cells were created in HTML. We needed to do a lot of translating a lot of if statements for that we just didn't get the time to do. Other than that, Courtney, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. So if you'd like, we can go ahead and real quick, we're going to go ahead and show you the creation of more than one game at a time. So to demonstrate that we currently have 2 versions of the game running at one time, on the bottom of Courtney's screen, you'll see that blue will have just moved a piece. I have 2 versions up on my screen. So that is one instance of the game currently running through our database. And then on the top of your screen, you'll notice that blue will have moved 2 pieces out. That is the second instance of our game. So we currently have 2 instances of our game running on the same, or at the same time through the database. We have 2 players connected on my screen and 2 on Courtney's per game.
Per game.
And each of these are completely independent.
Yes, these 2 games run independently. So then...
So quickly, we are going to switch over to a modified version of our game where all the players are about to win. All right, so this is an edited version of our game with only one piece very close to the end. So we're going to go ahead and win out with blue here. and it'll show you that you have to have it in exact roll. Otherwise, you cannot go. So we will go ahead and move blue into the middle, and it'll show up that blue has won.
Yes,
And then
everyone else will
it'll
see
give
that blue player wins.
Same, yep, give the same notification for everyone. So
Yes.
that is Parcheesi for the Course. It's a full working game of Parcheesi for 4 players. So we had a lot of fun making this throughout the semester. It was tedious. It was a lot
very
fun,
tedious.
But yeah. You want to say anything else before we finish off?
We used WebSockets. We ended up creating a database for it, and used Firestore. Firestore, yes.
Firestore, yeah.
And yeah, so implementing the database actually made it a lot harder because there were a lot more communication issues. However, it definitely was like, an experience that we learned from, and made the game more robust.
Definitely worth it at the end.
Yes, for sure. All right, so that is our game, Parcheesi for the Course.